Recreating authentic Byzantine armor and equipment is tricky compared to other nations such as England. This is due to Byzantium being conquered and absorbed by a foreign civilization. Many saved artifacts were probably destroyed by the Turks. Another issue comes with art, as even though there are a lot of surviving depictions of soldiers, most of them are drawn with an archaic style, not exactly accurate to that time period. We have to rely on descriptions of equipment, and a combination of art that matches up with said descriptions, just to give us a guess of what a Byzantine soldier would look like during the late 13th to early 14th centuries. Fyodor Palaiologos wrote in 1326 on the typical cavalry equipment, which we can extrapolate to infantry. Pourpoint, haubagin and gorget, some gambeson, chapelle de fer, greaves, cuisses, sword at the side and the lance and shield. Fyodor indicates that he isn't describing the true Latin style of armor, but a hybrid outfit, mixing Byzantine, Western and Eastern fashions. Using his description as a template, we can break down what each word means. The pourpoint is a general term for quilted or padded soft armor, most likely a padded surcoat. The haubagin, a smaller mail hauberk or coat of mail. This can be long-sleeved or short-sleeved. Some soldiers in the Alexander Romance from Trebizond wore cuirasses on top of or instead of mail hauberks. These are metallic or leather lamelar cuirasses of a distinctive oriental form. There are also depictions of metal lamelar horse armor. The chapelle de fer, meaning iron hat, was a conical, sometimes onion-shaped or even roundish, relatively tall helmet. Sometimes it had attached mail aventails covering the face or just the neck. It's a common helmet seen in Byzantine, Russian and Balkan sources. Some variations of kettle helmets are seen as well. Palace guards and more well-off individuals probably had heavier equipment. Looking at the Church of St. Nicholas in Varus, we can see armor with metal plating. Excavations in Serbia also show plated armor. Later 14th century Byzantine soldiers, like the Tsakona's Guard, could have worn more Western-style equipment. The last piece of defensive equipment was the shield. The standard Byzantine shield seems to have been of an elongated triangular design, with a pronounced curve along its width. Other shields, such as the Norman shield, were used, perhaps by militia or lower classes of soldiers, as the design was outdated by this point. Round shields may also be used, but it's unclear if they're archaisms. The most common weapon of the late Byzantine army was the spear or lance, with kontaratoi and skoutatoi units acting as the backbone of the army, although we can assume spathatoi or swordsmen also had a significant presence. Long straight swords, sometimes with a slight taper toward the tip, or curved sabers were used. An archaeological find in Belgrade, Serbia, gives us a great example of a Byzantine sword. Bows were used by light troops, and crossbows were used mostly in defense and sieges. We know very little about late Byzantine ranged troops. It is unknown to us how much of its own weapons Byzantium produced. The 1261 Treaty of Nymphaeon has a clause permitting the exportation of Genoese weapons to Byzantium. Perhaps we can conclude a significant portion of weapons were imported. Under Andronikos II's reign, the army was practically disbanded, relying mainly on poorly trained militia and mercenaries. Once the economic situation was stabilized near the end of his reign, a core professional army was reinstated. This army existed from the 1320s to the 1340s and wore the equipment that we covered today. If you want to relive this tumultuous period, and perhaps change it for the better, join our Roblox Byzantine group, where you can experience Constantinople and participate in large-scale battles.